Laurie, is old school enterprise selling dead in the way that you take them to the Super Bowl, you take them to Beyonce, Taylor Swift, the old school, like,
all that stuff.
Sporting. Is that dead or is that alive actually?
I don't think it's fully dead. I mean, it was the play when I started. Like that was it. You flew out to Texas, you took them to the steakhouse, you did all that stuff, right? I think with COVID and realizing what we can do remote, that has absolutely changed the game with how much selling you can do virtually. And I think if you do that right and it doesn't feel transactional, you can still have a very genuine connection with a buyer. I think it hasn't died, but I think it's just been kind of relegated to like a very specific motion that's happening. And it's almost additive, if that makes sense. It's like you've got to still do all the work to have that moment really have strong ROI. But still, inherently people like getting together and connecting and building that. So I think there's a lot of goodness to that. It's just like, how do you use that moment and what's the return for the customer and for the company?
I think it's also like know your buyer. And this sounds awful, but like the older school company. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they might be like, you know what? I don't want to hang out with you after work. Yeah. I'd rather hang out with my family and friends. So no, thank you. But I appreciate the offer, right?
No, I totally get you. Can I ask, do you ever do discounting? It's often the lever to get deals over the line. How do you think about discounting and how do you advise founders on whether to or not to do it?
I mean, there's some dependence on, what market you're in, how many competitors, all that good stuff. Like if it's a really competitive market and there's not as much differentiation as you'd like, you might need to do it to just get a foothold and to make sure you are grabbing market share where you can. I, definitely understand when that has to happen. I think it's all about a trade-off. It's like, what are you demonstrating from a value trade for that? Is there something that, hey, I'm going to give you this discount, but in exchange for that, especially in the early stages, I need references. I need folks that will speak on our behalf beyond just me, said founder or sales leader or whomever the person is in the engagement. So I think you should just make sure you're preserving value through what that trade-off is with the discount. And I think in the early days, it's like customer stories, it's references, it's introductions to, hey, are there referrals you can help me with that can help me broaden my reach that I maybe couldn't get myself? And then also just, of course, you want to not make sure you're demonstrating what that discount represents. So I think it's also, I'm a big fan of like when you're even going to proposal stage, showing it like this is exactly what's coming off of this original list price. This is what that means. So you really see it visually. And that sits with the buyers. They recognize that the collection of your good work to get to this stage has produced this discount. We're going to support it, provided we're going to execute on the timeframe that we agreed to mutually.